Overloaded. Well, we'll just take some risks.
Make mistakes.
Yeah.
Get messy.
We'll throw some streams at the wall, see what sticks. That's how the Ghostbusters did it. Good enough for me. Good enough. All right, we're back after a nice little American holiday break, and I think everybody else kept busy or kept offline. Things have a bit of a relaxation. This is episode 15 here on November 29th. Wow, that's a lot. So we've got playing with us today the One Silent 1-1. It's the unflappable Undertaker, Ezra Pheras. We have Miss Misery as the broken fighter, Segrid. We've got Thimbreus as the inquisitive bard, Kendrick, Dantiir, Cuthilioni. Squid Kittens as the oft-tested cleric of Kelemvor, Toren Forester. And Bad Wolf is having a night off. Otherwise, she'd be here as Suni's solitary sister, Anna. There's a story behind that one. We will get to it. First, the important questions. We just had a long rest, very long rest and recovery after very difficult battles. And it was all together at the Blue Water Inn, paid for by Irina and Ismark Kolyanovich. Toren had a evening conversation. Ezra summoned a skeletal familiar, purposefully, accidentally. Barovia. Dantiir had a viola off with a certain secretive monster hunter in disguise. And Segrid almost got caught, but not as badly as Anna did get caught with the masters of the inn. And, well, that went better than expected. Nobody died. But the Martikov... Yeah, always a plus. But the Martikovs are maybe a little chill towards some
Well, I
of you.
mean, a lot of people in the village died.
Oh, scores! Like, heaps of them.
That sort of counts.
Nobody died last night.
It was all in the early evening.
After we got into the inn.
Yeah.
Give us some silver lining here.
I mean, somebody did run in screaming, everyone in the village is going to die. But that just happens when you steal bones and things.
That's pretty bog standard for Barovia.
Right? It's Thursday. That's... So, the important questions, of course, before we get into it, is who snored the loudest during this night? We talked a little bit before deciding Toren probably snores. The worst.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's why he never wants to sleep around any of you.
It's fine. He slept the entire night in the center of the entire inn in front of all of the rooms. That's... Could have been Toren. Could have been Ismark. Who could tell?
Right?
You just don't know.
We're practically identical.
One in complete Kelemvor priestly robes, which I haven't really seen too much fan art of that, but Kelemvor's a god of balance, life, and death. You think they might have some sort of like black-white theme, something even on one half, the other?
Yeah, it's sort of grays and like very grayscale monotone.
There's not one for colors, that Kelemvor.
You can't take it with you.
Just a giant skeletal hand.
That's the necktie, the priest vestment. It's just like one hand goes up and down. That sounds peaceful. Okay, so yeah, that everybody. Oh, there's a priest. So Father Lucian has introduced himself as he's come into the Blue Water Inn. Basically, has said like, the bones of Saint Andrel have been stolen. We're all going to die. I don't know why he'd come in and say this. Maybe this is his like fourth place he's visited this morning. It's just
There was nobody anywhere else.
I'll just look at Ismark like, do we know what this means? Is this...
He's up. He's got like half of his. He's got bedhead. Half of the hair is sticking up from the other side. He did have a shower and was by the hearth, but he drooled a little bit. That's that's his thing. And he's up. Oh, that's Father Lucian. It's been so long. Why are we going to die? Father Lucian gets to tell you that there is a protection on this town. A holy protection put here by the Morning Lord and their agents, specifically by the hard work and earnest faith of one who had come before, the bones of Saint Andral, a saint of Barovia who had fought against the dark powers in the past and which were, well, stored secretly there in the church. And not anything to do with any of this all will be well business of the Baron, putting on one party after the other. If she wasn't my sister, I don't know. I wouldn't move that whole family out of this town, but I must see to my flock. But Ismark, and he does know Ismark as having been at least a little bit of visitation through the town from one burgomaster's kids to the other. He trusts Ismark. Ismark trusts you, so he's sharing this out. That he kind of just checks on the bones every week, make sure they're in place. He's really complaining now about the Baron's parties. He puts on a festival every week. Fun is mandatory, as posted outside. And there's a new festival coming in 2 days. Today they'll probably be setting up the pavilions and the little food carts or whatever they might have. It's usually a very wet mutton. Doesn't really do anything. There would sooner be vampires held at bay by Festival of the Sun as there would be wolves held at bay by Festival of the Flea Collars. It's the bones that really do it. Blessed powers, they consecrate the church and the surrounding areas, and well, I came here to ask for help from Erwin. Is he up yet? Usually this is the time. And since this is kind of the central area downstairs in the Blue Water Inn, you do, Toren, get to see Erwin Mardukov opening his door in the northwest corner of the inn, the same room where Anna had been trying to stay the previous night.
Where I never saw her come out of.
Sure. And so you see a big, strapping lad, 40s, big beard, white stripes, night clothes.
Who judge?
No.
Father
No,
Lucian, why are you here in the morning? And he'll come down, and while Father Lucian kind of wrings his hands, wants to talk a little more quietly than just shouting up and down from the second floor. Meanwhile, Ezra, Segrid, and Dantiir, there's voices downstairs. Something happening. How y'all doing this morning?
I'm feeling great.
It's a wonderful morning.
Yep.
Everything's terrible and I'll be good again.
That's the spirit.
Dantiir will make his way out of the door towards the voices and the shouting and the yelling.
Mm-hmm.
let everybody else wake up slow. He's like, when he wakes up, he's just up and he's ready to begin his day.
Which is super annoying.
Dantiir. Oh, good. So you're the first one out. Dantiir, there is a note on your side of the door just before you open it.
Is Irina still in our room?
Yeah, of course she's there.
Okay. What's the note say?
As you unfold it, it's actually addressed to you on the top. As you unfold it, it does say, Dantiir, I will be out today. Don't worry about me. I've gotten some apples for Drusilla and wolf steak for you know who. There shouldn't cause any problems today. As I spoke to you previous night, advise not to stay for Festival of Sun. Mandatory fun is not. If meeting, see tower northwest, and there's just like a little mark of an arrow with a very squiggled path with a V going west and then north with an X at the top of that, and the note is signed RVR.
Okay. Dantiir will pocket it. Make his way out into the common room area.
Out into the inn.
Yes, out to the inn.
Okay. Toren, you have a full story of everything that's happened.
We're going to die.
Okay.
I mean, it's more complicated than that, and
I figured.
probably something that we should at least help out with, since this is where Irina was going to take refuge. It involves the church and consecrated ground and stolen bones, and
That sounds
likely
like
more death.
We should try to.
And
remedy.
I really need breakfast.
Breakfast sounds great.
At this point, Danica Dorokova and two shortish little boys, I guess they're not tall, they just seem young, are coming downstairs. She is not in night clothes. She's put up her hair for a little bit and will go behind the bar and actually start cook fires, and you can all smell some fresh bacon and potatoes. Start to
Ooh.
cook and smell.
Before Toren forgets, before I forget, the bell key device that Von Richten gave before he left, I will give that to Dantiir, because it was intimated to me that my brother would know how this functions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I get the little hammer?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you saw it happen before, where Von Richten had taken this tiny silver hammer, tapped it against the broken set of chains that had held the saber-toothed tiger in his wagon, and the chains had reformed and closed. So, this is, he gave it to you in the morning. Yeah, so you know that at least it can mend things. Just give it a little tap. Okay.
Awesome.
Ezra, are you heading down? Or are you staying in the room?
Sure. Yeah. I'll just go down because I smell food.
Okay. Where is your bat familiar?
I think I poofed him away before I went to bed. just for the, because he was kind of talking a lot, and I forgot that they could do that.
That's true. You live, you learn. That's how it goes. Okay. I think Irina will clean herself up a little bit and then head downstairs. She's still got the short haircut that Dantiir had fixed up for her, as well as kind of plain clothes dress. Does that mean Segrid is one of the last ones to head down?
Yeah, I think she's gonna head down. Probably just. I don't think she's gonna put her armor or anything on yet. She's gonna walk down the clothes she had on, braiding her hair.
Hmm. It is an easy morning. And with the hearth having run warm all night, the Blue Water Inn is good and warm. And the only bits of cold have been brought in with Father Lucian. And now that there's been just a few moments, there are hot plates of those potatoes and bacon ready for everybody. There is unfortunately not a lot of drink options at this point, which is strange for the inn. But they have, as of last night, completely run out of most everything that wasn't water. And that because they have their own well just right out front. So.
Water is delicious.
So at the breakfast tables of the inn, and by breakfast tables I mean just the regular tables, Father Lucian is going to inform Erwin and Ismark's trusted friends here of things that, well, have been of bad portent. The missing bones, their importance. Things just don't seem to look good at this moment for the town.
Do you know who could? Do you have any suspects?
Could be not really anyone was supposed to know of the bones themselves. I kept that to myself when they were passed on to me by the previous caretakers. He stops after he says caretakers to himself. There is Yeska. And
Yes.
while he doesn't grimace, does look a little sad at that.
Who is Yeska?
One of our orphans we've taken into the church. We have more than a few, as you might imagine, here in the valley. Yeska is one of our younger lads, and I think during one of his night terrors, just must have been over a month ago. He hasn't had too many of them anymore. I do recall I must have mentioned the bones to him to help calm the boy.
So, do you know where he is now?
He might still be sleeping. Usually does morning chores. He stays with me there at the church, over on the west side of town.
Well, if he's the only other person, he seems to be a good start, at the very least.
Could have been, and he's thinking now. I suppose maybe my sister. Would I have? Like he's running down a list of everybody in the town.
Everyone in the village.
Yeah, everyone in the village. And every so often he's like, when they came in for a bad cold or then a broken leg.
Ezra's just taking notes.
But he will mention his sister, who he's mentioned a little bit before, is the Baroness, Lydia Petrovna. They just have conflicting stations, so they don't really see eye to eye on a lot of things.
I would vote for the orphan before the Baroness.
We are not voting for anyone's guilt. We haven't even agreed.
I meant to talk to them first.
Oh.
We talked to the orphan before the Baroness because that way we don't piss off the upper levels before we can actually find out anything.
Or some of us could just go talk to either party.
Irina pipes up. Victor invited us to see his doom.
What?
Yeah, that sounds great.
I forgot about that.
I did too.
And it would get us sort of an almost audience.
I don't know how much room there would be in a young man's doom, but yeah, sure.
I'm sure it's enough.
He does have a lot of cats.
Did we want to all go, or did we want to divide and conquer?
I don't want to be separated from everybody anymore. Shit happens when we do that.
This
very
is
true.
true.
Don't we need to find, and this is me asking out of character, who knows that Sigurd's stuff is supposed to be here somewhere?
All of us?
Sigrid's, Hannah's, and did Mr. Tree's stuff get moved as well? I know he died, but did his stuff get moved?
Probably.
Who knows?
Yeah, because I want my stuff plus I want to loot.
Did we have a location for their gear?
No, we just knew it was in Valaki.
Well, I mean, looking for a suspect and looking for things.
Things, well, we have several.
Oh, I forgot he was here.
Yeah, he's like just talking out of character, and then there's in character. Oh, there's things. We have many a hunter here, mostly sheep farmers. There's a toy maker in town, coffin maker.
What more do you need for a town?
People in
Have
stocks.
Have any shipments come in from the lord of this land?
No, the bones keep us safe. The closest evil that we've had are the tax collectors who come every couple of weeks.
Did they have like a residence that they would stay at?
Of course, it was just on the north of town.
That might not be a bad idea to place to look.
I would like to check there, definitely.
And that is in the perhaps very roundabout way to Victor's doom, potentially.
Perhaps. The Baron's places of residence, the mansion, is there on the... Yeah, sort of on that part of town, yeah.
So we could go take a peek at on the way, potentially.
I don't have to be super accurate about this one. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Totally.
So, where are we going?
All right, so the place where the tax collector stayed, the burgomaster's mansion, the church with the orphan. Which one do you want to check out first?
I feel like we would be treading on fewer toes going to the tax collector's residence to start, seeing as one of them turned out to be a horrid monster.
Mm-hmm. It's
Good
a
idea.
pretty good reason to go investigate stuff as deputies.
Sure.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Yeah, we do have the authority to do so.
We are deputies.
You are still technically deputies, yeah.
No one has rescinded that.
No one rescinded our deputization.
It has been less than 24
Toren will
hours.
put his armor back on before we go.
Yeah, Secret will go upstairs and do that real quick.
That is probably a good idea.
Before I forget to say that.
That sounds fair. Okay.
Yeah. I'll grab whatever gear I have, including my hat that I left upstairs.
Cool. So
Also, is Anna still sleeping?
100%.
While I'm upstairs,
Did you see Anna last night? Because last I saw, she went into that room, and Toren's pointing towards the room that obviously belongs to the owners of the tavern, and I did not see her leave.
She went to a different room.
Oh.
There were things
Complications.
that happened in that room.
No, that's fine. We have a task at hand,
Yes,
and I was just making sure she was okay.
When I'm getting my stuff, I will knock on the door that Do I know which room she's in?
Oh yeah, Ismar can even point it out. It's like,
Okay.
oh, she fell asleep really early in there.
Dantiir will feebly attempt to arouse her and probably have no success.
I mean, I guess that just doesn't do it for her.
Yep. That's acceptable.
She's not impressed by your viol.
Her loss.
Okay.
But then I'll rejoin everybody.
Well, with everybody having their relative gear together, then you can be led up to the north-ish part of town, and you are actually led by Father Lucian, so that you come to a really, really tall building. There's like a set of gardens out back. It is set up on a tall stone foundation. It's at least 2 stories tall, which for the village, the only thing taller is just barely the Blue Water Inn and the church itself because of the Star of the Morning Lord on top. Like, to the west, you can see the other 2-story building in town, and that's the Burgomaster's mansion. You are in front of another mansion. Father Lucian says, yes, there we are. The Wachter House.
Wachter? Is there a Lord Wachter?
Oh, there was, up until a few years ago. But now it's just Lady Wachter and her sons. They put up any messengers from Lord Strahd that come in, tax collectors, visiting servants and men-at-arms. Count himself hasn't been in Vallaki in ages.
That's good.
Yes, power of the bones!
Do you know anything... This Lady Wachter, do you know anything useful about her?
She's rich, powerful. If my sister and her husband weren't the hereditary rulers of Vallaki, well, it would be the Wachters, most definitely.
Potentially good to know.
At that point, like, he steps forward to knock, and his back like absolutely makes cracks as he walks up just the front of the stairs. Like, oh my, I think I'm going to need a rub down. This is it's not easy being a pastor.
Do you need us to knock on the door?
You can knock if you would like.
I can knock once.
Will you make it through knocking once?
I have Toren standing there, like, ready to catch this old man and also cure wounds if needed. Just, like, is he gonna fall and injure himself?
Oh!
I'll be fine. Be fine. Just maybe I'll stay out here for a moment longer and gather my strength. I don't much care for the Wachters, as it turns out. A little too concerned with material things, I'd say. So he'll stand out there for a moment or so.
Okay.
Irina will go over and kind of like rub his shoulders.
She's so nice. Did anyone come to the door at the priest's knock, or do we need to knock again?
Did he actually knock?
He didn't actually make it.
Oh.
He like back went out on the first step. It was rough.
I will walk forward and
Immediately there is a door slit that opens, an eye slit that opens, and you see like two eyes looking out at you, and like, yes.
uh, good morning. We are here to inspect the premises after the unfortunate incidents of last night and your guest maiming, murdering, and devouring people.
Inspect the Wachter house.
Thoroughly.
Do you have a? She closes the eye switch. You hear some steps. It's like somebody retreats away.
I'm I'm standing behind them, but I'm just gonna put my hand behind Dantiir and push him forward.
Yep. I'll walk up to the door. Could I tell if they just walked away, or if they were purposeful steps to go get somebody?
That would be an insight check, sure.
Alright. I got a 6, which means I rolled a 4.
How interesting. You think the person's still there? Just did those little tiny steps. It's like, oh, I'm going. I'm not here.
Alright, Dantiir will knock again.
But
There are now, the eye slit opens again after a moment, and there are now two pairs of eyes looking out. It says, we don't want any.
We are deputies serving the burgomaster, and we would like to investigate the location that belonged to the boarding room of the man who ate and devoured and killed and murdered the other night. We hope you're not impeding the investigation.
Okay, roll me a persuasion check, because do you have anything that proves that you are here at the behest of the burgomaster?
Did we get badges?
nope.
No.
Okay.
They said you are a deputy. Convince everyone else.
I got an 11.
All right. Do you have some? They see a group of people out here on the porch, and they're about to close it on just close the eye port with a sniff, but they do get to see that Father Lucian is out there. So it's they're telling the truth. I got it. You should probably let them in, unless you want Sheriff Strasny to come in. And there is... The eye slit doesn't close all the way. And then it does, and you hear a couple of locks start open up. And there, as the door opens, there are two maids standing there in maid garb. They don't have name tags, but they'll introduce as Halik and Madalena. You will be allowed to come in, please. If you come to the parlor, the lady of the house, you'll have to speak with her before conducting any kind of search.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Which way to the parlor?
That'll be to the left.
This room?
Everyone just looks super authoritative.
Segrid just wants to try that hard.
Oh. Okay. So you've been let through the front door is just this narrow vestibule, and, well, now that you've been led into the parlor, it's rather ornate. There's a dining table that stretches the length of this room. There's a crystal chandelier dangling over it all imperiously. There's some silverware set out. It looks like two sets that are tarnished and some chipped dishes. Though still quite elegant, just not super fancy at this point. It looks like the settings have been for porridge or eggs or something, and whoever ate here did so in a very messy fashion. There's about 8 chairs around, though it only looks like 2 have been used. The backs of them are sculpted with like elk horns. And out the front, near where Segrid's come in to be standing, are their arch windows made with lattice work, iron and glass, looking out into the small, snow-swept estate. Seated there in the parlor, in front of 2 elegant couches, and seated on the third, there's a woman with very high hair, mostly grayed at this point, very formal dress even at this early in the morning, and she is having what looks to be a steaming cup of some dark liquid. Behind her there's a portrait of a smirking nobleman with a broken nose and a tangle of hair graying at the temple, and there's just a bunch of little portraits all around. And the 2 servant girls, Halik and Madalena, go before you and the lady, bow deeply, and say, "Lady Wachter, they said that they are inspectors sent from the Baron's men to see of dangers from last night." And Lady Wachter waves them away. And she kind of looks over the 4 of you and just takes another sip.
Dantiir will step forward and bow respectfully. Straighten back up and say, "We do apologize for the intrusion and the disturbance. However, we are attempting to understand what happened last night. We had been tasked by the burgomaster as deputies, and we are seeking to make sure that there's nothing else that might end up being problematic in the future for the citizens of Vallaki."
That is a lot of fine words. Now, what do you want?
We would like to gain access to the room where the individual, the tax collector, was staying.
Ah, the one with the big mouth.
Yes.
Well, and she'll put her cup to her lips and just kind of smell in the infusion. Do you like working for the Baron here in Vallaki?
Personally, I see it more as working for the people.
The people here deserve much better. Do you not agree?
We're relatively new to the city, so I couldn't say either way.
You did not see the pile of bodies? The people in stocks, donkey-headed and braying?
I did. It's interesting approach.
It has been this way too long here in Vallaki. There are those who would have us come to new leadership in this town, and we could use those who are strong of arm to assist. And she stops because now that Dantiir has Dantiir straightened up yet?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Now that
So,
Dantiir straightened
are
up,
my shoes shined? Yes, my shoes are shined.
she will actually deign to look at the rest of you, and she gets to see Segrid for the first time. And she has been just holding her cup in front and just smelling an infusion, waxing on about leadership. But when she sees Segrid, remind us, how is Segrid dressed at this point, warm from the snow?
Sigrid has. You said I kept my armor, right?
Absolutely.
All right. She's got dark gray pants, her chain shirt, and the leathers that go with it, and she's got a blue, like a blue with a black design, half cloak shawl thing with a bit of ratty black fur as a collar on. She's got the shawl wrapped up around, but her hands are easily access to her weapons. And she's just staring.
And now Lady Wachter is also just staring over at Segrid and like ignoring Dantiir, Toren, Ezra, as if there's no one else here in the room. Have you been here long, dear? In the valley, I mean.
How long have we actually been here? Like a week?
Maybe 4 days? I think.
No, but about a week, madam.
Have you been to see the Count?
We were graced by his presence, yes, once.
Your accoutrement remind me of something I had seen just earlier this week. Satchel bag of simple leathers and a hand axe of well-used, hearty design.
Where did you see that, madam?
Our guest had carried them in, among other items. He was here with us a few days while collecting taxes and sorting them at the estates, but I suppose you know how that turned out. No actual livestock or grain is going to really make it to the Count's coffers. I don't think I expect that anything that he did end up bringing or taking was really of his to do so.
He didn't seem like, let's just say I believe whatever he brought with him is not his and should be returned. It would think would be in the best interest of this entire town. But of course, I would refer it to the captain here, Dantiir. She's trying to be catty. She doesn't do that. That's what you get when you have a negative charisma score.
I see Toren just having a face like, Captain, what?
Well, yeah, like,
And Dungeon's like, oh, Captain, I like that.
His feather goes up in his hat.
and it's like, I know I can't argue with that because I can't argue with that in front of the lady because it totally undermines what we're trying to do, but I do not agree with that at all.
So at that, Lady Wachter will nod, and then she will turn ever so subtly without breaking eye contact and say, Karl! Nikolai! And though it's a moment or two, you do hear rather loud stumbling down the steps from where you had seen them in the middle of the entrance, and there now are the twins Carl and Nikolai, who you'd seen in the Blue Water Inn previous night getting drunk off their ass. They are here. It looks like they've got some porridge stains on the front of their shirts. And it's like, yes, mother?
Were these the two who really liked my show?
Oh, yes. And they are kind of recognizing you at this point. But they are absolutely at attention in front of this very, very stern-faced woman. I mean, yes, mother. Take these distinguished deputies up to the room where the tax man was staying. Let them search, and if you find anything, make sure that they are returned to their rightful owners. We think that the dutiful tax collector was collecting a little too much. And the two brothers were just like absolutely nod and look at the rest of you and say, "Hey, weren't you that guy who..." He gets an elbow from the side from his other brother. He's like, I mean, yes, right this way. And they'll lead you all just up the center staircases, and you can go right up to floor 2.
Oh, floor 2.
Yay. And once they get away from their mother, they get a little more talkative. They absolutely almost don't fight for who gets to go up the stairs first. It's just, I'm sure that was just normal. And as you get to go up the stairs, the very first door, coming up off of the stairs, it's like, "This is my room," says Nikolai. But we were having the tax collector stay in here while he was visiting. They do this every couple of months when they come for it. And so you should be able to see a small room as they open it up. It's not locked. Doesn't look to contain anything out of the ordinary. Neatly made bed. Table with an oil lamp on it. Handsome wooden chest. Slender wardrobe. Window box with drapes. There are other doors, of course, there in the hall. There's one immediately opposite. Couple down the hall.
So I know that this is very important to Segrid, so Toren is just going to sort of hang out by that window at the end of the hall and enjoy the view while keeping an eye casually on everyone else.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, if no one goes ahead of me, I'm gonna go into the room and just open the chest.
Wreck
Open that.
Gonna wreck it.
Politely,
Dantiir is
yes.
just gonna hold open the door and kind of like, after you.
Okay.
She'll try to be neat about it, but that place is getting searched carefully.
Oh, 100%. All right. So with your friends keeping watch and letting you have that time, go ahead and give me an investigation check with advantage. Let's turn this place over.
Turn it upside down.
Nice.
Okay.
So of the stuff that was... Lord preserve you. As the stuff that was here... You do see the blankets. There's extra pair of boots here that look they were left here kind of a hurry. They're sort of comfy. Extra set of fancy night clothes. Only has the bottom half though.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
He seems like a guy who just like go shirtless.
There is sign that in the chest, besides the clothes, there had been more than a few items in here. There's like scratches on sides of it, and there's a collection of jewelry, trinkets, like stashed under the clothes, and boots. And in fact, in one of the boots itself is literally a leather pouch of about 70 gold worth of assorted coins. Like there's coppers in here, silvers, dragons, and in the one of the gems and trinkets, there is a ring. Looks like a silver ring, but intricately designed with no stone on it, just flowers kind of woven in between. And engraved on the interior of the band, it says, "For Krina." You also see in there a hand-knitted sweater, scarf, another pair of looks like very durable shoes, but of like a woman's size, thick coat, and partially broken remains of a dead rabbit, though that's wrapped up in the thick coat. The smell is not so bad. It seems like it was more fresh.
Wonderful.
Of your gear, Segrid, what did you have missing?
All my weapons, my shield, my backpack with everything in it. I basically just had my few important keepsakes that I kept on me. Left the letter, the bag of teeth from Baba Yaga, not Baba Yaga, from Jenny Green Teeth, and just a few other like the smaller things we've had, some gold, a few things, but majority of it was in my pack and my other gear.
You don't find your axes, and you don't find your bag in this room, but flipping over the bed, because nothing has been in here yet. You went through all of this stuff. There's a rabbit, there's gold. These guys got some lady ring, and just there's nothing here. You flip over the bed, and the brother's like, "Hey, wait, there's... Oh no, you go. You're all right."
I smile with a lot of teeth at them.
Yeah. They're under the bed, and not exactly tied to the slats, but there is like there's another sweater that has been taken, and it looks like it's made of fine goat hair or that, and it's spread across and tied so that two items will not fall from between the bed and the beneath. And it is a small pouch, and absolutely your shield. Your shield.
I take it, I check it over, and just kind of hold it reverently for a second, and then just lay it to the side and keep searching. I'll tear open the mattress if I have to.
The brother says, like, "Well, now wait a minute. That's
You really don't want to stop her.
Yeah,
I stand up and I stare at him.
as she stares at him, I use thaumaturgy to make like a dramatic wind gust, so she looks particularly intimidating.
There are goose feathers everywhere as the bed is ripped up." Like, does she not like bedrooms? Is this something
She doesn't like being stolen from.
stolen? Oh. The things.
Yep.
And,
Friend, there's doesn't seem to be much here in the bed. Are you missing some things, lady scary woman?
It's Mrs. Lady Scary Woman.
Mrs. Lady Scary.
I'm missing the rest of my weapons and my things. Were there 2 tax collectors here?
There were, but Skarsha, the Skarsha woman, she was staying with the Baron. She was new, I think. Not from around here long. Eugen, he stayed with us here before. I did bring in a lot of stuff this time, brother, don't you think? Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Where did you put it? Did you bring it all to his room?
Yeah, kept to himself. Made some visits from outside, usually when he was going counting sheep and the like. Might have dropped some things off or talked about town, visited a lot of people. Maybe you left your stuff with somewhere else, safekeeping, not keep in one place.
Could I take a peek and see if there's like any like fake floors or something? Like any like if Sigrid missed anything?
I'm gonna
Sure.
walk over and punch a wall.
So she didn't miss the wall. And Dantiir, go ahead and give me either investigation or perception if you can like tap over at the floors
I
and
have
boards.
one more in perception, so we'll go with that one.
Okay.
That is a dirty 20.
Wonderful. Okay, so you basically tap over at the different floorboards under the bed, by the wardrobe. There is not really too much in here that seems unsound. There is a loose floorboard, not beneath the bed, but just behind the wardrobe. And with that 20 perception, you smell like a scent of cats. Like your face is like close to the ground at this point, and you can smell cats just wafting in from like across the hall, and you also hear them. But your attention is on this floorboard. It's clearly in the dust of here. This wardrobe has been moved before.
Sigrid, if I may have your assistance with this.
What do you need?
The wardrobe has been moved recently. We may want to move it and see if there's anything.
I move it and I'm not gentle.
Just like pick it up and throw it over. What's that?
Toren is just like taking out like a piece of gold every time she breaks something and like keeping it to the side because he's gonna leave that somewhere.
Dantiir, you also hear like cat scratching at this point, and the wardrobe having been moved, the loose floorboard is very obvious, and moving it away, there are a score number of illustrations of very naked people. And Nikolai is kind of walked to the other end of the hallway and has started talking about, like, brother, I forgot something over here in the other room where I'm gonna be for a while. Just if you're throwing away anything, maybe doing stuff. And so looking through the dirty pictures, there is not much in there. Um, the other brother, Carl, will kind of come in, just barely edging in the door frame. Say, like, your things meant much to you, did they? Well, me and my brother, we have a look around town, right? We'll see where the Mr. Audi visited, and
There's a pair of hand axes. The wood is worn, but the axes themselves, they're etched. Very well made. They're old. There's a notch in the left one. I want them. They must be returned to me.
Thaumaturgy.
And
dirty
she's-
photos
yeah,
everywhere.
Again, she's smiling, just showing her teeth, but not
These are
actually
not
smiling and
flattering.
staring at right in the eyes. Just
There is by the thaumaturgy wind. There is like yowling coming from across the hall with must be like at least 9 cats.
what does that sound?
Those are cats.
Oh yes, no, our mother's cats. They are terrible. They meow all the time. Smell. He kicks the door. It's like, quiet, kitties.
Hey,
Can I do I believe him from the way he's talking?
You can roll insight.
That's the only thing I'm good at. Never mind.
Sigurd's still mightily upset, and with the thaumaturgic wind, there is a smell, like that cat smell when there's like too many cats.
Is it like the cats sound like actual cats, or do they sound like
skeleton cats.
dead cats?
Some skeletons.
I mean that's hard to tell from like.
Well, I mean, like the skelecats. Do they have like lungs?
Sort of, yeah. They make noises. There is a. There are a lot of noises coming from the room directly across from Nikolai's. Of it could be cats. There's also like there is like a loud scratching that comes from the middle door, like just a little further down the hallway, and
Cats do
it's like a
have-
really loud scratch.
How big are your cats?
Real fat cats, lots of them.
Insight.
Definitely.
Insight check.
Boom. I rolled.
Hide from a 25.
3.
I believe him.
Dantiir and Segrid are right across from the door that that Carl opens, and you do see into this room beyond that has basically 2 things.
Cats and more cats.
Yeah, cats and more cats. And as he opens the door, it's like this is going to take a lot of time to put them back in here, and he just as he opens the door, you see these 9 pairs of eyes of these black cats just like light up as they see escape, and
Closer.
it's just crawling with cats. The bookshelves are hugging the walls, but most of the shelves are empty. So it's just there's a desk, there's a chair, a table, like a wine cabinet.
Can like attempt to shut the door
Um,
in time?
Right.
Because there's just this like tidal wave of cats that's gonna come at us.
yeah, just like dex check real quick.
Can I like thaumaturgy like a red dot? Like
I taught you this back in school. They were about
it
all
keeps
to
the
leave.
children.
hmm
We are average.
That's fine. With the red dot, Toren, you like all these army of cats were about to
Like
come out, and then you just collect it. They all start going. Toren, you notice that one of the cats is having a small key hanging from their collar. The rest of them have like bells or tags or the like, but small key is just a little longer, and that's weird. And then Dantiir closes the door.
Yeah.
If there's something in there that we want to do, we should have a plan because they are very excited about leaving.
Mm-hmm.
One person go through, the door gets closed, maybe.
Who likes cats the most?
Ezra.
Yes.
I had cats. Not that many cats, but I had cats.
So I will sort of
Why am I going into the room of cats?
I mean, really, why not?
Just have a peek around from my hand axes.
Okay.
because I think the brothers were definitely trying to keep us from going in that room, right? Or are they just embarrassed about having 9 cats?
Toren, you see that Nikolai has, of course, gone to his room on the his shared room with the brother.
Oh yeah, dang it, Carl.
To the other
Carl.
side of the house. Carl, though, is standing right in front of the middle door, you would say. So all the way at the end, there's like a closet, and just before that, there is the other brother's bedroom. Then there's like a master bedroom door. It looks better. Carl is standing in front of like a middle room, I guess, and that room actually is where the louder scratching happened.
Toren will sort of lean down. He doesn't have to lean down. I keep forgetting we're the same height.
Yeah.
Because you're so small.
I know. It's fine.
Will sort of whisper to Ezra that one of the cats has a key around its neck. And that could be interesting as he then slowly saunters towards Carl at the door. Like, what's in there?
Oh, sick cat. Not very good. Bad
Well, you know,
smell.
I do have healing abilities. If the cat is ill, I could make it better.
He'll actually look at you a little closer for that.
Thaumaturgy glowy hands. Healing.
Magic jazz hands.
This has been the best day for thaumaturgy for Toren ever.
You get to do this.
It is, you're still dressed as a priest, right?
Oh, I have my armor on, but I still have the vestments would have gone on back over the top because people tend to respond to that better than just plain armor, I've discovered.
Sure. So like the symbols of Kelemvor are on there. The big skeletal tie. Carl's
Double
into
Windsor.
it. Yeah, Carl's into it. He's got some respect. Like, I do not know who you worship, but he seems of good style.
Ooh. No, he's like the Lord of Death. I probably shouldn't mention that a lot.
Not here. The only Lord of Death is the Count. But it's I can't open this door. Only our mother has the key. For her safety. It is and you'll hear a voice now as he kind of taps the doorknob to show that it's locked. There's a little light voice that says, "Can little kitty come out to play? Little kitty is sad and lonely and promises to be good this time. Really, she does. Really."
You get them all, Toren. You get them all.
Hey, you have the worst luck.
Who opens these doors? It's our sister. She's not been well for a long time. We keep her in here for her safety.
What happened?
This incurable madness. Or no one here has ever been able to do anything about it. She's been like this for years, since our father passed.
Was she attacked by anything? Was she cursed? She fall ill?
She is our baby sister, Stella. She used to love her cats, and this is why we still keep them here, though we have sequestered them to the library. Just, if you are good at this healing, maybe you can make some kind of bargain with our mother. She is very powerful. The Wachters here in Vallaki, in Barovia, we are some of the most influential names. Strahd, the Lord, may he live forever, sends his servants to stay with us here at Wachter House because he knows that we are the most loyal and strongest of the noble houses here in the valley. And I'm sure that our mother has been presenting ourselves as such so that perhaps one day the Lord in his blessings may lend cure to our sister. I am sorry for, and he'll be indicating to Segrid, for the misfortune that perhaps you have had at the hands of one of his servants, but we will see what we can do about this. He's not a terribly kind lord, but he is the ancient. He is the land. He is not as a normal man.
I would appreciate your assistance in finding them.
Finding all of the things that were taken from us, if possible.
Mm-hmm.
This Dantiir wants a gun.
A gun?
Oh, Hannah's stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a gun somewhere here.
There's a gun somewhere in Barovia.
There's a gun somewhere in
I have
Barovia.
heard tales of this. This the magic shooty thing.
I have heard tales of gun.
I've heard tales of
I'm-
gun. Interesting.
I mean, I would be more than willing to offer my services to your mother. I'm not sure without knowing what afflicts your sister. I can of course make no guarantees, but surely aid offered is better than a child forgotten. Dis it, Strahd. Sorry.
Oh, snap. Okay. So, well, that's been going on. Did Dantiir or Ezra, who was shoved into the cat room?
That would be Ezra.
Oh gosh, I actually
Perfect.
got shoved in.
You're great with animals.
You were shoved up
You like
All
your
of-
cats.
Okay.
So there in the animal room, in the upstairs hall, there's lots of frame portraits and mirrors all around, but specifically in the library where the just the room's still crawling with all these cats. They see Ezra, and yeah, half of them remain where they are lounging, but the other like 5 just converge on Ezra, who I think you have all your stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that includes rations, like at least 1 ration.
Yeah.
Okay, is there some kind of dried meat in that ration?
Yeah.
Okay, they are going for like that corner of your bag.
I just like toss it out onto the floor.
They swarm just instantly. They start fighting and pulling across at it. You do see the one cat who has that silver key on her collar. It's one of the ones that's actually laying on top of one of the really tall bookshelves. Like, most of the shelves are empty, very dusty, and there's just like one fat black cat that is just like lounging with all 4 legs off to splayed to the side. and with just this key hanging from her collar there. But in between you and that cat, of course, there is madness.
Visiting me.
I'm gonna poof Ethan into the room with me to try and, cause.
Hey, you boss, what should we be doing? Oh, there's a lot of cats here.
Just stay above the cats. Wait, no, we need to get to the big fat one on the top of that shelf.
Okay, you got it. I'll give her a hiya. No, watch out. No, kick her, sir. And Ethan, the Bartok XP, flies over across the room and will kind of land on that top of the bookshelf. And right next to it, there's a cabinet with a fine collection of wine glasses, and a desk near it has got at least a couple of blank pieces of parchment, quill pens, looks like jars of ink, some wax candles and that, or at least it used to, because as soon as Ethan has landed there, the cat has absolutely batted her paws and knocked Ethan into the desk.
Oh no!
And then the cat pounces, and there's a bit of a tumble. There's a oh no, and as Ethan tries flapping away, and there's a couple of cats who now look up from mostly desiccated bits of meat. We're looking at this single flapping, very quickly moving thing in the room, and you see like 5 pairs of eyes just move in sync. It's like, oh no! As like Ethan is now being chased from shelf to shelf as cats start knocking things over. There is ink on the floor. There's a heavy wax seal that gets knocked down. There's the entire thing of wine glasses just falls over. And from out in the hall, of course, you guys get to hear all of this.
I think Ezra's dead.
It's good to know her.
only thing left standing is one of the actual bookshelf that the cat had been on, as Ethan is struggling with it. Like, there are 9 cats that all leap up after him. It's like a mountain of fur, as Ethan holds on for dear life, or unlife, whichever skill the bats may have, and just holds on to that top shelf. And if you could, I think you have control of the bat up here. If Ezra, you could do a quick strength saving throw or strength check for
Awesome.
Ethan's hold on this bookshelf.
Do all I have to do is this? Oh, cool! Yeah, you know. Wait, that didn't work? That's right, that worked. I got a 1.
-4?
Fantastic! Bat.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Says
they are not the strongest of creatures.
It's a very expensive bat.
1 bat versus 9 cat. It's like, I got it. He snatches this fat cat has the one who's grabbed him the most, and it's like, I got it, boss. And he grabs onto the silver key, with the last like 3 fingers clutching onto the bookshelf, as you see this bookshelf start to teeter away from the wall. Like, oh, I don't got it.
Oh, no!
And this long shelf just pulls from this mass of 9 cats and bats. And just this whole shelf falls over. And the cats scatter as like each of them start dropping onto the floor. It's like, oh no! And the bookshelf lands with a loud crash.
Ezra has now died twice.
I open the door, like blocking the bottom of the door with my leg. The way that you do when you have cats.
Sure,
and
there's
just
4 cats
peek
just
in.
against your legs really quick. There is ink and paper everywhere. There's broken shards of glass there. And Ezra, where that long bookshelf had been, there is a door.
Oh.
And it looks like it was connected to the bookshelf, such that as the bookshelf fell over, the half of it fell completely to the floor and it caused the crash, and the other half is kind of attached partially to that door, and so the door has been wrenched open, and they're like 4 inches off of the ground. There's just Ethan holding on with the 3 fingers, his body, key in the other 3 fingers, and then just like a centimeter or 2 of space between it. And then behind, like, this torn open secret door. Which, Segrid, you can tell from this vantage point as well. And you see just this little skeletal bat waving a little silver key.
I'm gonna run to Ethan and, like, just hold him.
Scoop.
I'm gonna slip in again, keeping everything blocked so the cats can't get out.
Sure.
And go over to Ezra.
I'll just be like, playing with that mini cats is super noisy.
Thaumaturgy.
While they're enjoying themselves, why don't you and I go talk to your mother about this thing that I could possibly do for you?
Guess so. Did something fall over in there? What?
It's nothing. Don't
It's
worry about
Ezra. He's incredibly clumsy.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. I'll
it. Don't worry
It
about
sounded like glass.
it. Let's go
He
downstairs.
is
and
brittle.
talk to Mom. It's like actively like pushing him down towards the stairs.
I guess. Nikolai, we're talking to Mother, just in case they need anything. Okay.
Nikolai has been shamed. He will never show his face again.
No.
We know what you did.
We've seen the photos.
It's art.
It needs lessons on anatomy.
Yeah.
Totally, that's what it was.
So.
Why are there 3 nipples?
Why not? Science.
So, behind the hinged panel door of that bookcase, there's this dusty 10-foot square room. It's got a curtained window and shelves lining 3 of its walls. And on the bottom shelf, there's an iron chest. The other shelves in there look pretty bare.
From chaos brings success.
That's the word for it.
Yeah, I find that happens every time.
Go have a look inside. I'll keep an eye out.
You want me to? Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had great luck so far.
Or do you want me to do a new
Don't
teeth
you
bio?
dare say what could possibly go wrong.
I got this. I got this. I can. It's the door entrance is only half, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I got, I'm small. I can crawl through it.
I'll boost you if needed.
Okay.
There are 9 cats running around. The same part. They have knocked off at least a few. In the library room, there were just like a handful of books that were still existing on the shelves, and that's just those are all on the floor now. Every single one of them. Okay, so Ezra, what you want to try to do?
Am I checking this room? I'm going into this room?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go look at... I don't know why I'm doing this. Toren said look for a key. I've got a key. Now I've made a mess. And now I'm going into this secret room.
Sounds fair.
It's because Segrid is very angry and she said to.
Yeah. That's good.
Reason for anything.
I guess I'm gonna just... I'm searching for her axes?
Okay. Well, there's this. That's not super little. It's actually fair. It's an iron chest. You can tap it over. You can. You've got at least one key. If you've got anything else that you want to try, there is a lock on it and sides and stuff. You can try investigation to kind of tap at it, do things. Perception, if you want to not quite touch it and just kind of observe around it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get Ezra killed.
Yeah. And I have poor impulse controls. I'm just gonna investigate this thing.
Nice.
Full on. Sounds like a great idea.
Wonderful.
Oh! Yay!
Holy shit.
Okay. Oh, that still doesn't mean great things.
It's amazing. All right. I
Nothing like
did.
a nat 20.
Yeah,
I did not think I was going to need this. All right.
Oh
Okay.
no.
The book of terrible things. Always
Yeah.
easy, close by.
Just remember the 3 cards I drew before we started.
Yeah.
Hey, remember the card that I drew, which was unexpected wealth.
This is not a good thing. I never take it as a good thing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. You see that there is in the, as you're like this is a hefty iron chest, and inside of it there's a lot of stuff moving around. There's like, you think there's at least a couple of books in here? Some scrolls, maybe? You hear like the rustling of papers and leather cases that like roll with it when you do give it a tap. And as you kind of look in, there's not a lot of give in the crevices, but there is, of course, the keyhole for its main lock. And as you see that, you do see a very sharp needle there, not less than an inch from your eye, and you see that it's kind of embedded into the side of the lock, probably set to spring the moment that someone tries to open this without a proper key or a proper disabling of this needle trap. It's coming out from the side of one of the parts of the lock, and there's like a little catch that goes to the bottom of where the opening crease is, so that if you don't disable this properly, it will launch.
Okay. I have no experience in disarming stuff. But I have a cool chest now. Or I don't have. It's not my chest!
Mhm.
Miss Segrid, what do I do?
And I'll make my way in and what's going on? What do you need?
I mean, there's nice things in this, I think, but it's trapped.
Two
I
cats
haven't-
now come into the room behind Segrid, and they just start
don't-
clawing at the empty shelves.
Alright, and I'm going to get her to show me what he's talking about, like the mechanism.
Do you think that this key goes to it? Because if I try and use it and it doesn't, then bad things might happen?
Do we have any I'd have a quick look around, like, is it a key that has like a little hole in it or something like that?
It's a very simple key, toothed with about 3 teeth, 2 long, 1 short in the center.
Alright. If it's tied around neck, I'm assuming that there's like a little hole you can thread something through it. From all the broken wood and stuff like that, I'm gonna see if I can find a long piece. I'll thread it through, put it in the thing, and just kind of twist it. Keep my hands.
The absolute 2 cats and the other 7 who are in the room like go after you as soon as you get something long enough to twist through it.
I'm ignoring them.
Okay, they grab onto the end of it. There's 1 cat like swinging by this string.
I lift it up and just look at the cat. Just
Wow.
I'll crack a smile, and flick it off.
Wow, and starts going out back into the other library. You look back into the other room, and there was like one wine glass that was still on the rack, and a cat pushes it off. Another cat is peeing on a book that fell on the floor.
No.
Okay, you've got a key with the little string rope through it. Long piece of wood.
Yeah. Well, what it would be a long piece of wood that goes through the hole on the key itself. So it's like two really big long handles on each side.
Oh, okay.
So my hands don't actually get anywhere near the lock. Like I can just go.
This is really clever. I did not think that was an option. All right.
So do we think that your axes are in this, or are we just stealing?
I will tear every piece of this house apart if it means I can find my axes.
Okay, I just
I'll
making
check
sure.
inside these cats if I have to.
One cat leaves. Since there's nobody at the door anymore, they just start pawing at it. Okay. You're going to give this a twist?
Yes.
All right. The lid pops open.
What do
There
I
you
see?
go.
There is quite a bit in here. Several items and one poison needle that has not been triggered. The key kind of went in and kept the needle back, and then when it twisted as you did it with the large lever of wood, the needle was pushed even further back to the side by the teeth of the key. So this is the one.
Okay.
The stuff in here, there's a silk bag, seams of heft, a leather bag, a little smaller, it's like a dice bag size. There's a wooden pipe of the Tolkien smoking type. There are at least 5 scrolls here. A supple leather-bound case, book-sized, and a black leather-bound tome titled The Grimoire of the Four Quarters.
Oh, Ezra.
I'll hand it to Ezra.
But no axes, right?
No, underneath the book there's just a very old letter in an envelope.
Whatever I can fit into a bag, into Ezra's bag, I will.
All of
Into
it.
Ezra's bag.
I don't have my backpack. I just have like a small bag.
She gets 2 big books. She gets
This
all
kid's
these
stole everything.
scrolls. Like a
I
cat
think
tries to get in there.
You're like, sure, cat.
Like,
How
this is
dare
all
you.
great stuff, but it's not mine. Are we just taking it?
It's very dusty in here.
Possibly.
Okay. You know, I'll refer to your judgment here.
I'll take everything, and
Okay.
I'll close the thing. Again, using my little leverage sticky thing, close the lock and pull it back out. Make it look like it hasn't been touched, and I'll just take the key and throw it across the room.
I mean, it would be very hard to say that we never came here.
Here's
They wouldn't think the key. They won't. It's still locked.
They'll know that I took things. I mean, I didn't take things, you took things.
it's a very heavy
You can
backpack
blame
now.
I want to
Do you
know.
want me to carry your back?
No, there's other things in there now. But
Some anatomical studies.
All right.
And,
I forgot about your dead bits.
yeah.
I'm gonna head out of the room. Again, I'm just gonna scoot out the door so the thing doesn't hear me. And there is one thing I want to do. I want to go into the room, fish my hand down into the hole, pull out one of the dirty pictures, and go to the door that I think is the brothers.
Sure.
Just
Last.
underneath the door.
As you've left it now, there's just the merest hint of the edge of that sheet. A moment later, you see it snatched up. Just the edge disappears.
You're welcome. Find my axes. And I'll... What do you want to do, Ezra?
Leave as quick as possible now that I am.
Quiet.
Okay.
And I'll grab him by the shoulder and I'll lead him down the stairs. Go check on the father.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And I'll turn to Dantiir. So I think you stayed out, didn't you?
I'm with Toren downstairs.
Oh, they went downstairs.
Okay,
Yeah.
well I'll follow down behind them.
Okay. So that's Carl, and as everybody gets to go downstairs, Carl, the
Stay in the house, Carl.
Lady Fiona walked her downstairs, is listening to Toren's ideas for what can be done. What are these wonderful ideas for this
Yep.
madness-induced child?
He will just introduce himself and explain that in casual conversation with your lovely children in the hallway while my associate was looking for some of her things that might have been amongst those brought by the errant tax collector, we fell into conversation regarding your daughter, and I
Their
thought that
eyes
perhaps
on Carl, and Carl is looking away.
In his defense, she did make her presence known. It was not something that he initiated, I suppose is the right word.
She scratches at the doors every day now, Mother. I see her blood on the walls. It's not healthy.
But if I knew more about her condition and how she came to be thus, that I might be able to offer assistance, alleviation, aid in some manner.
What are you, cleric of Toren Forester?
I'm gonna do, as he says, Kellamvor, eye flash for super impressiveness. Kellamvor, golden eyes.
One of the portraits on the wall, just off to the right of Lady Walker's shoulders, like, falls. As soon as you do that, it's just like knocked off the shelf. She doesn't turn to look at it. Have you... And she'll look at you a little closer. Have you elf blood?
On my father's side, yes. Who am I?
What am I doing here?
On my father's side, yes.
Is it of the Dusk Elves?
That I do not honestly know. He doesn't lie by lying.
That's... What? Give me a deception check for that.
Da-na-na-na-na.
And she's looking over at Dantiir at this point too. Technically, because Dantir's there with his half-elf ears as well, this would have given disadvantage. So 5 is fair. Like, you are the heirs, aren't you? The ones Count Strahd is testing this quarter.
This quarter, airs every quarter. The second she says the word airs, his face is just like stone mask, like shut down. Don't like that at all.
And Dantiir will move to be like right next to Toren. Like, not saying anything, but like he is very present in this conversation now.
I have offered you assistance in helping your child.
We would be more than happy for that assistance, Sir Heir.
Ugh.
You and your brother would be most welcome to stay here in the Wachter house until Stella has been healed. I have, and she'll withdraw from her very, very, very high necked up bodice. Small set of keys. Yeah, it's been down there for a while. It's like getting water from a well. I would put her in your charge if you would look well upon the Wachter house if either of you came into power. We're gonna look for her stuff too, Mother. We're gonna, we'll we'll help them out. And she looks back over at Carl. It's like, stay in the house, Carl. What are you talking about? And he'll just mention they're gonna look for secret stuff. Like there's a hand axe, there's a left notch wood thing, also bag, and we will find it. They took it. We'll find it. Yes, it would do well to honor these guests here of the valley. They will be... Do you need anything? Sir Heir, Toren Forester, to work with my daughter. She'll hand you over just the one key off the ring that's going to be for that room upstairs.
That is an answer I will not know until I have met her and tried. What do you know? You know nothing about how this came to pass, or is this some strange form of test now that you know who I am?
Who is to say the way that the Lord works? He sets up these challenges for those who he brings to this land. He has not found a worthy heir yet, and it has been centuries. I would have promoted my own sons, and she'll look over at Carl, but they are nowhere near worthy yet of their blood. You should have seen their father. And she'll turn to the large portrait of the smirking man. Powerful, magnificent.
What happened to him?
He went, as some do, too early. Used all of his vigor in extending the Wachter family as much as possible. She visibly shivers. That man.
This has just been like the entire conversation has been Dantiir and Toren doing the exact same reaction every time she says something.
But he tries to do it politely, so he's like,
there is like the portrait behind just like sort of tilts as she's looking at it, and Lady Wachter frowns like very much. Yeah, it just looks like
Sorry.
Mother, I guess if you'll be taking your leave, I will get Nikolai, and he'll turn to see where Segrid and Ezra are coming down the stairs. We will be on the lookout for your things, and your we will find them. You
can. Again, I already dealt with the other brother. I'm just gonna walk over, put my hand on his shoulder. How much tall? I'm about 5'8". How much taller is he than me?
Just a little taller. He's about 5'10".
All right, let me see. And I think I'll put on as friendly and brave a grin as a smile as you can. And just because I'm past the point of doing anything, so she's just gonna be act nuts now. Just say, I would greatly appreciate it if you could find my axes. They're truly precious to me. I've already spoken to your brother and given some of his lovely art back. And I'll squeeze a little bit and just walk away and step back
He
and walk over to
visibly falls to that shoulder.
and I'll walk over to Dantiir and Ezra, Toren, and just kind of stand by them, holding my shield.
He'll kind of eye Ezra. Is Ezra a very strong lad?
Strong? No.
Okay, Ezra is like visibly sagging from the very heavy tomes he carries now.
He's carrying the rest of my things.
Ah, yes, of course. The shield and the like. Okay. Nikolai now comes down the stairs. He looks very composed. There is no loose pieces of paper anywhere that could possibly be folded within his jacket at all. And it's just like, all
I'm
right.
giving him the stink eye. Just
There's also behind him one of the maids comes down the stairs, who also doesn't have anything hidden within her person under their clothes. They're absolutely not naked under there. And they come down and says, like, brother, we will make our rounds around the village. We will find these things. And passes by Ezra, who's like almost toppling over. It's like, you maybe need to eat some more wolf steaks, eh? Put some bones, some meat on these bones. And gives just Ezra this. I said what I said, and gives Ezra a big slap to the shoulder. Collapses. There's a muffled from Ethan. It's like, oh, that hurt. Just from inside. I assume Ethan went inside the bag for a second. He could be anywhere. Okay. So I'll take it. Are you going to go up to rooms? The brothers are going to go out. They open the doors, and you can see that now at least an hour has passed there in the morning. You do see, in fact, there's like pavilion stands being set up at the town square.
Did you want to check on the daughter, brother?
Yeah. Yes, I'm not going to leave the house without doing so. I would have Segrid with me, and I would have you stay down here to keep the peace should it break.
Okay.
Okie dokie. No problems. You can go back up the stairs. There's nobody up there now except like a bunch of cats who are now swarming the upstairs. Some of them started coming down. And
we were really careful when we left the room.
Cats. Just
Cats get everywhere.
yeah.
Magical ninja cats.
As you get to the room, the key fits into the lock easily. This has been regularly used, oiled, maintained, and as you open the door, you see that this room is musty and dark because of its location in the interior of the manor. There are no windows. There is a iron-framed bed fitted with leather straps standing near one of the walls, and there are no other furnishings. Scurrying away from you, though, on all fours, is a young woman in a soiled nightgown, and she leaps from her position past onto the bed, and she hisses at you, and she says, "Little kitty doesn't know you. Little kitty doesn't like the smell of you." And I think that's where we'll take a little break right now.
Best cat timing ever.
Yeah. This is a young woman. So,
Toren does know how to pick them, though.
every time. Who knows?
Every time. It's
I-
like, you get a happy rainbow. You get corn. You get a creepy cat lady.
Listen, I still have all of my sad things. I have the Blinksy doll. I have that drawing from.
You don't have the sad wolf pup, though. Because
No.
that is back with Falcon. Was that his name?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's his sad wolf pup, though. So
Yep.
he's technically not dead
Yeah, he's not even dead.
yet.
That we know of.
Hush.
Who knows?
Almost saved him. But we left a lot of other kids there.
All right. So quick 7-minute break. We'll see you all back in a bit. Okay, and everybody's in the right place and everything. Oh no, it's late in the winters. Dantiir is tiring. Okay, so we're upstairs. There's a cat girl, Segrid and Toren there, as this cat girl has leapt onto the bed, saying that this little kitty doesn't like the smell of you.
It's not terrifying.
And she's standing there with very wide eyes on all fours, her front hands placed in front of her, almost as if she's ready to pounce.
Hold up my hands and I apologize for the smell. I'm not from here, so it is difficult for me to keep up the personal hygiene. But your mother sent me up to see if we could help you.
She's just kind of like slowly rocking on the bed. It doesn't look like it's a flat bed. It looks like it has some feather and fluff to it. It's just there are leather straps there that look like they have been used every so often. And Toren and Segrid, since you're directly there in the room, if you could both give me some perception checks.
Oh,
Oof.
6.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
10 there. All right. Well, with the focus on our little Stella Wachter, the room is fair bare. There's not a lot that's been to this room. There are scratch marks along some portions of the wall, and if you notice that there are some, not exactly bruises, but there are patches along her wrists and legs that just look like they've been strained before. There aren't any cuts on her at the moment, but she's just in a maddened state at this point. She doesn't get down off the bed, but she kind of lowers her haunches a little bit. It says, "Mother sent you to little kitty."
How old does she look?
Maybe like a very young 20s. She's not a child. Maybe like Irina's age or a little younger. Close to Victor. He's like this tall, lanky teen. She would be just a little more around that age. Something exact is kind of hard to tell in her state. She's not wearing like regular clothes. A nightgown, and it's got stains on it of. It's not blood. It matches the stains in the other parts of the room.
Okay.
And the smell.
She did. I'm not here to do anything to upset you or against your will. If all I have is the opportunity to talk with you, that's fine.
She's not backing down at this point.
Okay. Bleh. I don't have anything.
Secret? What do you think?
She doesn't look altered anyway. She just looks like, a human in a bad state.
Yes, very much so. This is someone who has had a lot of bad days, maybe years of them.
I just kind of look at her for a bit and say, how long has Mother kept little Kitty in this room?
She'll look around the floor and, keeping an eye on where Segrid and Toren are, she'll kind of flick her glance over to where there might be like a window on the wall. If there were any windows, there are none. And she'll kind of start turning in that way that a slow tabby might turn while keeping their eyes on you, and kind of walk off the other side of the bed. And there's like a loud thump that everyone who might have stayed downstairs would be able to hear as she ungracefully hits the floor. There's no enchantment of cat here. There's no cat's grace. It is a person who is in a bad state. And she will be on the other side of that bed and just now kind of peering over the edge of it. Little Kitty is in her room. She is good kitty. She'll peek up a little bit.
I'm sure you're a good kitty. We I kind of look at Torrance going, we may be able to help little Kitty come out of her room for good and play with the other kitties and outside. Will little Kitty accept our help?
She'll slowly come across from the end of that bed, the other side. And she's still on all fours at this point, but she's like peering out from the corner of it, and
I have the door blocked. I'm in the doorway.
she's looking at the doorway.
Yeah. While Segrid is talking, Toren will sort of crouch down and do like the I'm talking to a small child squat, and hold a hand out like this, and we'll just say, I only need to take your hand to see if I can help.
The little man will help the little kitty.
He's a lot.
She's shorter than you.
Sorry.
Rude.
She has by this time walked out from around that end of the bed to closer where Toren is, kind of having an eye on where Segrid is standing in front of the door and the hall. She takes her... Which hand are you offering at, Toren?
My right hand.
Stella's left... I was going to say paw, but it's just because she's holding it like that. Comes up. And while she's still standing on her other three, she kind of sits down onto the floor, and her other hand is seated in front of her, but she reaches one slightly trembling hand and puts the fingers onto yours, and her thumb is hanging off, and that's not... She's not really using it.
The second she touches me, I'm going to cast Remove Curse on her.
The touch and spell wash over her, and there is no discernible difference to her state. She's just kind of looking at you with her eyes, and she still has her paw up, and her hand, and her fingers are kind of steady on your hand, and then they start just like slipping just slightly off. So, you think that with your experience here in Barovia, the remove curse did work as it should, but there was not any aura of anything removed here, and she doesn't seem to have changed in behavior.
Do you sense any evil on her?
I don't really have the ability to do that.
Oh, okay.
Do you sense any evil on this young child of the night? You can both roll insight checks, actually. That's a little
Okay.
similar. So you've been interacting with her here in this room.
21.
17.
Nice. Okay. You have been both around cats and children and teens. And although very timid and scared and seemingly lonely, what existence this must be just in this small room, she does seem like there is this is certainly a madness malady, and it's she doesn't seem evil for it. She is in need of care, and so this is certainly one version of care. And there's been worse, there's been better, but it's not a curse situation. It would require some strong healing, which Toren, you know, is available to powerful clerics. No one you've seen here so far, not Father, not the priests at the last village of Little Barovia, maybe Father Lucian, maybe at the other church, maybe yourself, but no one you've seen so far. You've heard of spells that do help with these sort of things that restore people to their best states.
Toren doesn't know how to get out of there without telling her it didn't work, or that she's not better. He's just gonna sit there and look at her, and he's gonna look really, really, really sad.
Can I figure out from his expression and everything what's
Toren
happened?
looks really defeated.
Okay. Little kitty?
She turns to look at you. Takes back her hand from Toren.
Little kitty,
Outside?
we are not yet. We're not ready, and I'm very sorry, but
Outside?
we will.
You said...
My name. I didn't say right away, little kitty. I'm sorry.
You said outside.
I will take you outside. I can't take you out right now, but I promise I will take you outside when I can.
Toren has stood up and just left. He can't handle this.
I'll let you by, but I'm still blocking the doors.
Yeah, as soon as Toren kind of goes by, Stella Wachter is trying to move fast after Toren on four legs.
No, I got the door blocked.
Okay, you stop her bodily at that point. She never rises higher than your waist. It looks like she might be as tall or not. She's a little lanky at this point.
And I won't crouch down because I don't want to shift my balance too much. But I'll lean down as much as I can. I was like, little kitty, my name is Segrid, and I promise you, one way or the other, I will take you outside someday. But I have to figure out how to help you. Our friend couldn't do it. But we will try, and I promise you that. And, I'm... I've got nothing on me to give her. I was going to give her something.
Oh man.
I will. Toren his back is still to the room. He hasn't quite left because he's not going to leave Segrid alone. He will take the Blinksy doll that belongs to Crazy Lady's daughter, whom he is sure is dead.
Okay.
Because Strahd took her.
I remember this crazy Blinksy doll, yeah.
Yes. And I will just hold it back.
I'll take
not
it.
even looking.
I'll pick up the doll.
This overstuffed head and this black outfit.
Yeah.
I'll pick up the doll and say, this is a gift from me to you.
Its name is Stormy.
Its name is Stormy, and I promise when I come back, I'll take you and Stormy outside, but we have to figure out how to help you first. To make sure you're the best kitty that you can be, okay? Go lie down and I'll come back later, okay? I promise.
She reaches up with one paw. It's where I'll refer to it because doesn't use her thumb. She just has that hanging, and she has her 4 fingers, and she'll reach up to where the Stormy doll is, but just as she's about halfway reaching it, her hand kind of turns, and she sits back down rather than being on her 4s again where she was trying to get out, and she'll reach out with 2 hands turned and grab onto the Stormy doll and hold it, and she'll kind of not exactly look at it, but she'll look down and she'll put her face against it so that she's got nose to face for the doll, and she'll kind of roll it just a little so that the head is rolling against her forehead, and then she'll kind of lower it while still looking just down a little bit.
You take care. We will keep you company until I come back. Will you take care of him?
And she's just holding on to this Stormy doll, and she has it in a way that she's holding on to it and now petting it like a girl would, though it's still, as a teen, something a little out of place. But this is more of a human thing that you've done here, a response that you've elicited here. And Toren, you can hear just from the other side of the door that she's not talking, but she's also not crawling on all 4s, and that she seems calm. So Segrid, as you move, she's not going to make any motion until you get a little further out the door, and she says, "Little kitty will wait for Segrid to take her outside." And she's still stroking the Stormy doll.
And I promise I will be back to take you outside, okay? I have to close the door now, honey. I have to go, okay?
And she's not looking anywhere in particular. She's just kind of looking down and stroking the doll. Okay.
And I close the door and I lock it. And I'm going to just step aside and put my head against the wall for a couple of minutes and probably cry a little bit.
And you will hear Toren mutter under his breath about how he needs to stop trying. Because he can't keep failing. And we're all miserable upstairs. How are you guys?
How about that local sports team?
The wolf hunters, they've not had a good run in years. They keep hanging their heads over there in the blue water. Those fools of the hunters. I bet the spectator pavilions have already been placed up by this time. They'll have their stupid wicker balls set up in the town square. This is Lady Wachter having conversation there with Dantiir and Ezra as she's going on and deriding every choice that the Baron and Baroness have made, describing every, not exactly failure. They've had the Festival of the Wolf, they've had Festival of the Sun, they've had Festival of the Holy Grain, or things, whatever. It's like whatever he sees when he wakes up on the beginning of a new 10 day, that's going to be the festival. I don't think he's ever seen the sun or thinks that it must be a festival of the light that comes out of his backside that he's having this week.
Have you ever seen the sun?
It is, of course, above us and beyond, but the Lord Strahd's mists of Ravenloft stay and keep us safe from its terrible powers.
The sun has terrible powers.
Does it not burn? Does it not cause drought? Does it not cause dehydration to the point of sorrow and death?
So does fire, but we all have fireplaces in every home.
That's right. Nothing is truly dangerous if it can be controlled. These mists, these lands, it is all under Lord Strahd, may live forever, and his control. He and the dark powers. If we were all to get in line with the powers that be and rule this land, there would be no problems, there would be no death. This tax collector who has come in, he was punishment. Or, perhaps in your case, he was a test, sent to test the temerity and cleverness and strength of you heirs. And you passed. He had only killed a few of the villagers and sheep, and you put a stop to him. Cleared him out of the town. Did you? Or that's what my brothers say, my sons say.
Yes.
Dantiir, your brother is of a faith. What is your expertise?
I prefer to dabble. It's like they say, it's better to be a jack of all trades than a master of none.
That can be very handy and useful. A lord of a land must know many things in order to take care of it. And you, young one, Mr.
Hi, I'm Pheras. Shit. I'm good. Sorry. I have a bat.
Ah, a young familiar of this land, and one of such tasteful make.
He's a little dead right now, but
He still moves. That is powerful magic.
I know. Isn't that cool? He says he's fine.
Strahd himself is a powerful magician. If you stayed here and gave support to one of these brothers, or just in support in general, we could accept you here at the Wachter house. We could, maybe on a day of more enlightened leadership, have discussions with Count Strahd himself. Take you further in the studies of great magics.
I prefer to learn on my own now, but keep it in mind. I'll write it down.
Question for you, ma'am.
Yes, I like to write myself. I dabble in these things. Yes, Lord Eyre.
Right, my question. Who, you say that you wish to change the direction of Valaki, as it were.
Who doesn't? The way this town goes, everyone wishes this.
I'm just guessing here. But would you take the role?
It would need to be from a town-wide decision. I would not dare to step into such a position of incredible responsibility without the will of the people and, if we could, the will of the great master of the land. With his support, all difficulties would just disappear. All trials, tribulations, these taxes that we have, that we've suffered these long months, I tell you, they are here from the Count to put to trial this corrupt and decadent Baron Valakovich.
Was there any ever mention of taxation in any of the other places we were at? I don't think there was there?
Not for while you were visiting,
Right.
though you did have Burgomaster Randovich here in town, and it might have just been that it wasn't their tax time.
Mhm.
And Little Barovia, well, there wasn't really any people left.
Yeah. So are you the only people who are taxed like this?
Oh, no. All of the villages of Barovia, every citizen and villager, must pay tithes and dues, the exception of perhaps Strahd's favorites, the Vistani, but they often pay tribute in other ways.
So are they then punishments for every town?
Is it punishment to repay the one who keeps you safe from the wolves, from the mists?
Punishment.
Punishment for those fools who cannot do proper management of such things, who cannot hold security over those tithes and donations that have already come in. Strahd likes to test those in power to make sure they are worthy to keep that power.
I think he likes to test everyone.
Do you not think you will be found worthy, Dantiir?
I don't know if that matters.
You would then abdicate, just leave the contest for your brother?
It's not what I said. I said that I meant that I don't think that I have the same definition of worthiness as Strahd does.
Definitions can change, depending on who is authoring the books.
This is very
When she
true.
says books, she looks over at Ezra. Ezra, give me a quick perception check.
Okay. Da, 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 da. Oh, I'm not good at that. Oh. 15.
Oh, all right. Ezra, you just the little hairs off the back of your neck. You kind of notice that there's been a shifting behind you, and your bag. How's this bag, this satchel, this carrying case of your items usually look like?
It's one of those sort of like crossbody ones, and it's got like two front pockets and then the main flap for it.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like the main flap has come not loose exactly, but it's like almost been pushed to the side, and one of the scrolls is a good quarter sticking up and out of the bag, and its contents have shifted enough that there is a with the black leather bound tome, that one has like a corner that is almost sticking up out of it, and you feel just the slightest shifting of weight on your back, and a breeze all of a sudden. Just you look to where you've been holding Ethan, and he's there with his wings, and saying like, "Wasn't me." He like gives a little flap, and like there's much less breeze. And Lady Wachter kind of looks at you much more closely. Says, "What is it that you have there, little one?" And that's when Toren and Segrid can come downstairs.
Did you have any luck?
Not right away. I believe there is hope. I believe Toren can do it. But we will have to find a cure, but I believe there is one that exists.
And Toren will look right at the lady and say, "You know your child is not cursed. There are means to help her that are beyond my capability, but
Your capability right now. Just
Beyond.
said Toren. Just not
beyond my capability."
right
But
now.
Her eyes move away from Ezra and onto where Toren is speaking to her.
but
Well,
I do not think that this healing is non-existent here. Have you not sought it out for your child?
the Baron doesn't allow a lot of travel between our village and the rest. I'm sure you saw the wolf heads staked out upon the east gate. He and his sheriff guard us to the point of stagnation, keeping us all captive here for his mandatory fun festivals. If there were such help to be found in the valley for my Stella, perhaps the west, there is a rumored temple of great power. Some say it is the very place where Lord Strahd himself came upon his great knowledges and magics.
Does this connect to our Taroka reading from when we all drew the card? Because I feel like it mentioned a temple.
Absolutely did.
Yes.
There is, from that reading, there is a place of faceless guardians of a temple far to the west. And this actually matches also with what your, well, depending on how Toren sees him, with what Toren's purported father has told him and Dantiir, to seek a great power in the west, in a place known as the Amber Temple, a place with the power even to bring one back from death. And somewhat similar details Lady Wachter is going to share with you now, that purported to be this place in the west, somewhere, great power. Lots of stuff. It's the Jimmy Jams. It's the best. If we were allowed to go out to that place, or The Baron would never allow it. He would never allow such a rival house to go and seek out any kind of power that could go against him.
Well, if we find ourselves in the area, perhaps we can find something.
The area of West.
Like, oh, we're headed there. Yeah, totally. Cool.
Mount Baratok is not but an hour outside the village, and the western mountains maybe 6 if you reach through their foothills, though the travel becomes quite cold to see over the fogs and mountain stops. But, if you were to do so, I would be, of course, putting my entire family to your services. Regardless, if you come into direct power in this land, we would, of the Wachters, would be backing you in complete confidence to the positives that you can do for the people in Barovia. I would, though, warn you and provide some cautions. Have you silvered weapons among you?
Yes.
There are ancient shapeshifters there in the mountains. Hateful things of tooth and claw. They are much harder to kill than the wolves mounted on the walls, though they have kinship with them. From within her bodice she'll pull out a ruby pommeled dagger, and this one looks like it is almost of pure silver. It is no axe, but where you go, you can have the Wachters backing. And if you do find something that can help our dear Stella, you would have powerful friends here in Vallaki. Every one of the supporters of the Wachter family. Perhaps these supporters could also aid in finding items that have been lost. They are very resourceful. And she'll flip the dagger up. Who's catching this?
Dantiir will. Would you like me to make a save or something?
Give me performance.
Okay. Only a 15.
Okay. There's no fumbles. Looks fairly professional. She's flipped it up to see who would take this chance, who would try to garner some favor, who looks to be able to take advantage of things that happen as they come their way. And Dantiir has just snatched the dagger out of the air. So this is a silvered +1 dagger.
Ooh.
So that's a +1 to damages, as well as the silvered property, which is really effective versus transform persons. And since it's a dagger, it works with dexterity or strength, whichever ones you do. Since the brothers have already left the house, she will bid you all fair hunting. And she calls for her maidservants to bring out her parasol and muffs, scarves, as she's going to go out to inspect the quite dreary and incredibly inadequate preparations that the Baron and Baroness have begun doing. Perhaps I would be able to be of assistance.
All your decorations are terrible.
I want you to know this. Everything you're doing is bad.
Everything is bad. I imagine that's what she just like goes down there, just like sitting
Row
off
by
to the
row.
left of it.
Mhm.
These are
Servants hold a
And
parasol
she
over.
has like a fan, and she's
Mhm.
like pointing. She's like, atrocious, tacky. You are the worst.
What do you even do?
Why are you even here?
So, all right, you work for me. Never mind.
Yes. And so that's what she does out there. And outside, it looks like Irina has moved on with Father Lucian, probably over to the church, or maybe over to the Baron's
Oh,
house.
shit.
Go to the Doom. Ismark is out there waiting, and kind of like steps aside and says, "Slight bow, Lady Wachter." She kind of sniffs, like, he's at least of some noble blood-ish.
You smell noble-ish.
Uh-huh. Lesser. Goes on.
We really need to work on that name.
Yeah, he grimaces like, hard to lose child nickname. Oh well.
You just need to do something that is truly impressive.
All right.
Good luck.
So, you've got some things. I think couple of places that you can be to head to go anywhere you want to in this town, this valley. Except for the rather thick armed person who is now walking up to you from down the street, who has, of course, two of his guards coming up behind him, holding on to... they're supposed to be like yellow garlands, I think, but they're a little darker than that and have possibly been stained from use. Like,
Oh, no.
as Sheriff Isaac Strasny walks up and says,
Oh, no.
"You're not going anywhere.
Oh, no.
Not till you tell me where that girl is." And
What?
You mean me?
Just like give a thumb towards Segrid. Just be like, there's one.
Again, and the crazy smile again. This is all teeth and no actual smile.
This is the most
How
use
does
I've
it
gotten
know?
out of this all day.
now, the one who let loose the folks from the stocks last night. The one who you came into town with, by all reports.
By whose reports?
Yeah.
You pass guards at every door, every gate into or out of town. They're my guards, and they're not letting you out of nowhere till you turn over to me, Irina Coliana.
On what charges?
She belongs here.
Oh no. Oh no.
And we'll leave off on him reaching
Oh, no.
Oh no,
with
no,
his
no.
real thick, muscular hand
Bad
over to his other
instinct.
one.
If I can't save someone, I might just have to kill some people.
I'm on board with this idea.
Nice. Okay. Ismark is also like, what? And that's
Oh
where we'll
shit,
leave
Ismark,
today's
no,
session.
hide!
Ismark, go away!
He'll
What
look
are
up
you
and
doing here?
how
He's
did
like
you know who
pushing
we
down.
were?
Who am I? Where am I?
There's.
Wait,
Did you wash? Why did you wash your face?
Oh man.
All of your makeup is gone.
Single tear runs down. It's a cowlick. Just put down, I guess. All right. And so that's our game for tonight, because now it is all of our time. And so we'll see you next Thursday, I think. We got good times in Barovia, happy and fun times. We'll see you. Bye.
Night.